Ladies and gentlemen, Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. What a pay per view, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, what was your favorite match? Feel free to like this video and subscribe. If you want to jump in the comments as well on YouTube, let me know what your favorite match was. If not on YouTube, on Twitter as well, at Too Sweet Pod and at OMG Corey B. So, what a pay per view, man. I ran a poll on my Twitter account at Too Sweet Pod asking what was your favorite match, whether it was the Barbed Wire Massacre, the X Division title match, the women's title match, or the main event. And 35 votes, 82% voted on the main event. And just an incredible show overall, man. It had something for everyone. The Barbed Wire Massacre was brutal. I'm about to hop into a little bit of that. Matt Cardona debuting. I don't know if he's staying, but he showed up. It was just a lot for everyone. And just to jump into my top four, those were my top four matches from this pay-per-view. Even though I enjoyed all of the pay-per-view, there wasn't too much in this pay-per-view that I did not like. On a side note, Fire and Flavor, yes indeed, Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz winning the Knockouts tag titles just warmed my heart because I've been asking for this ever since before they even came out. They re-debuted the Knockouts tag titles, so I'm happy for them. Looking at my top four, and the X Division title match, this is one that really went under the radar for me as it pertains to people talking about the pay-per-view afterward. This was a banger, man, and I'm surprised that normally Impact has the tried and true method of putting the X Division as the first match to really pop off the crowd or pop off the people watching, and this was an outstanding match. I really thought that a title thing should have occurred here, but it didn't. Manic picks up the victory, retains the title. Either Raju or Chris Bay, I would put the title back on Chris Bay, but that's me. But one of those guys should have won. This was an outstanding match with some tremendous near falls, man. I gotta say, Matt Striker did an excellent job of selling near falls. I'm about to hop into that as well. This was a phenomenal match. I really much enjoyed it. Moving on to the Women's Championship match, the Knockouts title match at the top of my top four here. I would have this would be at number 4 for me. Not because I didn't like the match, but it's just some stiff competition in that top 4. The beginning of it was way too much for me. We had everybody get involved, and thank God the referee threw everybody out. And it got down to Deonna and Taya, what it should have been from the start. And I am such a fan of Deonna Purrazzo's style. NXT really missed out on a gem. Just like I love me some NXT, but sometimes they just miss. And there's a lot of examples of this. Sami Callihan is an example of that. And they just missed on Deonna Purrazzo, man. So, I mean, this was an outstanding matchup that I very much enjoyed. Deonna Purrazzo retains the championship, right call there. Did the double lock on the double arm bar. Man, I was like, oh my goodness, it is over. Say you quit, you can't even tap out. And an outstanding matchup. And the Knockouts division continues to roll on. Moving on, the Barbed Wire Massacre. You know what? This would be number 2 for me. I would have the X Division title match, as great as that was, as my number 3 matchup. This Barbed Wire Massacre, before it even started, I said, you know what? If you're going to call it a Barbed Wire Massacre, it had better be brutal. And that is exactly what it was, ladies and gentlemen. We got a Nintendo 64 barbed wire controller. What is going on? I love it. I don't know what's going on, but I absolutely love it. The 13-year-old me absolutely loves that. But an extremely physical, barbaric match. The spot that Eddie Edwards took where he got his neck got caught up in the chain, I was like, oh my God, is he okay? We had some ridiculous spots, man. I absolutely love this. We had the barbed wire baseball bat being brought out. They switched kendo sticks and baseball bats. Like, this was everything, man. An emerald explosion on a heap of barbed wire. Like, I absolutely love this match. Eddie Edwards would go on to pick up the 3 count and the win. This was exactly what it needed to be. I'm sorry if brutal makes some people uncomfortable, but look, if you're gonna have stipulation, like I said, it says barbed wire massacre, it had better be brutal. I better see color. Like, I'm not one of those old school people that are like, oh, we need to see blood every match. No. But in this match, in a barbed wire massacre, in war games, in matches like that, yeah, I need to see some color, and I got it. Job well done to these guys. I absolutely love it. That would be my number 2 match. My number 1 matchup, the main event. Look, I said this on Twitter. Like, there are some matches. And I shout out to Marie Shadows on Twitter as well. We talked about this. There are some matches on whether it be MMA, boxing, or wrestling. There are some main events where you're like, okay, this is good. I'm excited for this main event. And there are some main events where it's like, it is a big deal just strictly from the entrances. And that is exactly what this was. It was a big deal. Right when the entrances was happening, it was like, okay, I cannot wait for this. Kenny Omega comes out with the Bullet Club t-shirt with the AEW Championship. I told you that it's something, if you listen to one of my recent podcasts, I said it's something about the old school meeting that gets me excited when I see a champion from another promotion show up with their championship in another promotion. So it is much like Ric Flair coming out with World Championship, talking about he's the real world champion. So that in itself was a cool visual. As for the match itself, these guys, just like, it was a 100-mile-per-hour match right from the get-go. Sometimes I don't like those. I like to build up drama, but in a 6-man tag, I am all with it. We got 6 guys rolling. I don't mind it going balls to balls here. Matt Striker, once again, in this matchup, he sold the hell out of those near falls. All I ask in, like I'm liking it to this example. Undertaker used to have these matchups with the Street, and I'd always say every time, oh, Undertaker not losing. Just make me believe though. And there was one spot where it was Undertaker and Triple H, the Hell in the Cell, and he did super kick, pedigree, finisher. I was like, oh my God, Undertaker's about to lose. And he kicked out. It's like, oh, okay. And that's what happened in this matchup. There were plenty of spots where I was like, oh my God, Kenny Omega's about to lose here. And he kicks out. They made me believe. That was the greatest thing about this match. They made me believe that Rich Swann, Sabin, and Moose would pick up the victory. And overall, the action itself was just phenomenal. I loved every bit of it. It is my number 1 match. The one thing that I don't necessarily like about this match is that Rich Swann took a clean pinfall. I thought that, look, man, Moose is the one that got thrown into the match. He should be the one taking the pinfall here, not the world champion. Other than that, it was an outstanding matchup and an outstanding pay-per-view overall. I give it a solid. I don't really get into ratings like talking about it, but I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. Let me know your thoughts on Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. This was a time well spent, man. I enjoyed it. Just a lot of fun things going on. Let me know all of your thoughts, whether it be in the YouTube comment or on Twitter at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2SweetPod, or at OMG Corey.